My guest today is a beast in the game. She started her career at Radio Turf, Energy FM, Capricorn FM, and even at Supersport. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Guguzo Mazunda, and welcome to the Center Circle with Mazrio. Hey. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's interact today. We have a beautiful journalist. So, let's interact and I'll see you in a few. Hi, Mmaphuti, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I got so
Thank you.
nervous when you said beautiful because I don't have makeup on. My hair's a
Oh,
mess.
next
I'm
time
in
I'm gonna
serious
put
lockdown.
makeup.
I'm in
I'm
serious
just thinking of
lockdown.
putting makeup when we do another interview.
I guess. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Yeah. So, let's get down to business.
Mm-hmm.
It tells me that you started studying law first and then
Yes,
changed to media.
absolutely. No, I didn't actually study media.
Uh-huh.
I studied law, and then in my third year, I decided that let me
Is
just
it?
pursue my dream straightforward, and I jumped in. I didn't really study it.
Is it?
Mm,
What made you jump ship? What made you just change?
I don't even think it's a matter of jumping ship. Hey, I've always had a love for sport. I played a lot of sport in primary and high school and a bit in varsity, and I've always felt the need to tell stories regarding sport. But unfortunately, growing up in a traditionally black home, you're
Mm-hmm.
required to follow certain channels in terms of your career. And so the only choice I basically had was studying law because it didn't really require a lot of mathematics, as a lot of people would
Yeah.
gather. So I just happened to, take the plunge and just go straight into sport.
Right. So, in your opinion, what should young girls
Mm.
look forward to in this field of industry?
Pardon me?
What should young girls, in your opinion, what should young girls
Mm.
look for working in this industry?
What they should look forward to.
Yes.
Well, I'd say a lot of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's things are very different now, as opposed to perhaps 20 years ago when the likes of Carol Shabalala and the women that followed after her, the likes of Kaz Naidoo came after. They had to really dig deep and lay the groundwork for women like us to
Right.
venture into sportscasting. So I'd say that they can look forward to a lot more opportunities, um,
Mm-hmm.
and just being able to follow their passion of sport. As we know, we don't really have a lot of women in the field.
Yeah.
So they can look forward to breaking ground. They can look forward to taking hold of the opportunities that they previously didn't have. So yeah,
Right. So, what lessons are you learning, or you are yet to learn, or you have learned in this industry?
that it's never easy. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
it's never easy, and I think the biggest lesson would just be to let your passion drive you. Because every single
Yeah.
day you wake up and you face a new challenge. But the fact that you're pursuing something you love should then say, I need to keep going. I need to keep putting in the work, and eventually it'll pay off. So I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned throughout the years that I've been in sportscasting.
All right. So, you were talking about women like Carol Shabalala, yourself, Lindy Wedube, even. I mean, there's a gap for women in sport,
Mm,
right?
mm.
So, what do you think can be done to draw women in for this interest?
I think just having honest conversations about what we go through as women in sport. And I really don't think that there's a gap per se in as far as women not being interested in sport. There are a lot of women who follow sport, different sporting codes even. For example, I'd interact with women that follow motorsport, for example, something that, your typical guy wouldn't even follow. So there
Yeah.
isn't much of a gap in as far as interest is concerned, but there is a gap in how women are able to then channel their passion into actually venturing into sport as a whole. So I think what needs to happen at this point in time is us, opening our hands, opening our platforms and saying that if you want to be a sportscaster as a woman, this is how you reach out and this is what you do. So unlike before, where we just go in blindly based on the passion that we have, we can literally just stand up as the women in sport that already exist and
Yeah.
actually just pull women in, reel them in and say, hey, if you want to do this, I'm here for you. My DMs are open. You can call me if you want. You can do whatever, but this is how you do it. And this is what I've done so far. So yeah, women should definitely get into sport with that regard, because we do have the spaces. We do have the channels. All we need is for women to
Yeah.
actually take that plunge. Yeah.
So how important is it for a woman to address herself professionally in this field? I mean, you get to work with a lot of men, and then you get sort of, hey, she's dressed like this, like that. How
Yeah.
important is it for a woman to conduct herself professionally?
I think we first need to establish what professionalism is as a woman in
Yes.
every field. And we also need to address,
Yeah.
the different types of patriarchal standards that are placed in work environments, And personally, for me, I think it's very unfair to place a certain moral expectation on women that we don't even place on
Yeah.
men themselves. So for me, just follow how you've been raised, and have your own convictions as a person, not just as a woman, but and
Yeah.
trust, believe me, people will keep talking, people will do whatever they want to do, but at the end of the day, when you lay your head on your pillow, know that your convictions will speak to you, know that what you've achieved will speak to you. So it's not even about conducting yourself professionally for me means that you put in the work, means that you follow certain procedures, and as far as putting in the work for you to actually get to a level that you would say is success for you. It's not really about
Yeah.
conducting yourself professionally in the eyes of men, because that's exactly what they
Yeah.
want. And on the other
Yeah.
hand, for a lot of women in sport, people want to twist and turn this professionalism however they want. They want you to be
Yeah.
professional, but not too professional for them to, have access to you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
so you stick to your truths as a woman in sport, or as a woman who wants to venture into sport, and let that guide you. Yeah.
So you've worked with a lot of media houses, right?
Mm,
So you did video, and then you moved on to TV. How has
yes.
that transition been like? How is it?
It's been very, very difficult, I must admit. Um, I'm a, I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm a tomboy, but
Yeah.
there are times where I just don't want to look like a girl, sound like a girl. And there
Yeah.
are times when the whole makeup thing, well, like now, the whole
Yeah.
makeup thing and nails, and I just don't want to do it. So,
Yeah.
so that, it's difficult in that regard. But when it comes to TV, it's very visual. And
Yeah.
there's a certain restriction in as far as the content that you put out is concerned. The transition from going from radio and print, where you're able to have a bit more freedom in terms of the content that you put out,
Yeah.
is a lot easier than television, because there's someone in your ear telling you exactly what to do, not what to say, but what to do, and you have to
Yeah.
juggle everything at once. But when it comes to
Yeah.
radio, you've been there. We've
Yeah.
we've hung out at stadiums where we have some sort of control over the content that we put out. And
True.
with TV, people basically you people basically see what you see.
Yeah.
And whereas when you cover things behind the scenes, you're able to shed light on some of the things that people don't even know about, which for me is news, is are things that people should know
Yeah.
about in that regard. So the transition has been very difficult, but it's been very rewarding because I believe in, taking chances in some of the things that you
Yeah.
would like to dabble in, so that at some point you find your niche, you find where it is that you want to place yourself in the bigger spectrum of, sport. So right now for
Yeah.
me, I'd say that I'm happy in dabbling with everything, but I do know where I just settle in as far as, content is.
Talking about having difficulties in this industry, how does one
Mm,
tackle them? Like, should now one decide, I want to go in sports or mainly soccer, maybe because there's like a
mm,
lot of men there. So
yeah,
how does one tackle such challenges? Who do you talk to? Who do you go to, with
mm,
issues like that? How do you manage your whole transition from just being a normal girl now doing all of
yeah.
this, exposed to a lot of men? How does one now handle so much pressure that comes with working with men?
I think it's always important to have mentors, to have friends, to
Yeah,
have like-minded people who are either in the same industry as you
yeah,
or who understand the challenges that you go through. And for a lot of women, they think that it's a sport, but it really isn't,
yeah,
hey? Because, for example, if you're ever in corporate, you've got women that you talk to, that you
mhm,
listen to, you, you guys basically hold each other's hands. It's very much like in sport, because as much as we don't want
yeah,
to admit, women face more or less the same challenges face. You know, we face challenges of, sexual dominance, and as far as men are concerned, where they feel that you need to still submit as a woman, as though you're merely there for, their assistance or their
yeah,
satisfaction or whatever. So
yeah,
it's very important to have women that are like-minded, women that will carry you through whatever it is that you're facing. So connect yourself with the right people. And
yeah,
that, it's a learning curve also, because you may come across women who don't really want to help out,
yeah,
excuse me, but want to use your head as a stepping stone, or they want
yeah,
to draw you back. So you
yeah,
also need to have that unction to say, you know what, I'm vibing with this person, I'm connecting with this person, so therefore let me have, this person to talk to and to mentor me or to help me when I face challenges. So it's very important to
yeah.
connect yourself to the right people.
So we have a question from the viewers.
I'm nervous.
He says, who have you always looked up to in this industry?
Wow. 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 I can't even narrow it down. There's so many amazing women in sports that,
Yeah,
I've looked up to even before getting into the industry.
yeah.
And some I've had the pleasure of actually meeting. But I think the
Mm.
one person who, by the way, I've never actually spoken to is Carol Shabalala. I love her.
What?
She's broke. Yes, we've never spoken. I know, I know, I
Lie.
know. No, it's just a high and by thing. I'm so like I'm such a fan that whenever I see her, I'm just like, oh my god,
I
I
think
can't
that's
even
the,
bring myself.
don't you think?
Yeah, no, pardon.
I think she's the person that you're looking really up to because now if you
Yeah,
get nervous, yeah,
mm, mm. I look up to her because she got into sport at a very sensitive time for women.
yeah,
Her as well as Cynthia Chag. I
yeah,
I
yeah,
really admire these women because when you look at the bigger spectrum of things, they had to lay a very difficult groundwork, for the likes of us to be able to walk through. And with every single, I'd say, generation of women in sport, you're able to identify certain women who really stand out and who not only decided to venture into sport, but to excel in it and to make
yeah.
sure that whatever it is they do, the next generation should, be able to have a smoother way of transitioning. You know what I mean? So wow, Carol, Cynthia Chaka, um, Nandi Shabalala, who's a very close friend of mine now, Botato Moeng, Lebo Motswedi. Wow,
Mm.
Mpoma boy. Oh, little Nyan, sorry, she would kill me if she would say
Yeah.
that.
It's me
And
all the time.
right? And the
Yeah.
women now, the likes of Lindiwe Dube, Amanda Mangu, Lerato Pao, Tando
Yeah.
Sibia, women that are really just around here, and you're able to look at them and say, hey, I'm me and you are you. So, we create like a band. And Mashle, she'd kill me if I didn't mention her, and Mashle as well. So it's very important for, to have those people where you're like, you know what, even though I don't really know this person personally, but they really inspire me to say that, hey, if she can do it and she's a woman, then I can definitely do it, even though it takes a lot of work,
Can
but
I?
the groundwork is laid.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. So now going forward, what are your
Hmm.
plans?
Wow. I I'm not much of a frontline person. I like being in the background when it comes to my work.
Yeah.
So at some point in time, I'd like to venture, excuse me, into perhaps directing and
Mm-hmm.
going back to writing, because I used to write, like
Yeah.
2, 3 years back. I used to write,
Mm-hmm.
and also just being a voice, man, a voice that people
Yeah.
don't even have to, focus on, but focus on the message behind the voice. Because I feel like, as much as, we're women in sport, we don't really have a lot of voices to listen to,
Yeah.
people. There are a lot of women who, as much as we look at them and we aspire to be them, but they're too busy breaking their own barriers to actually have time to sit down and talk. So I believe that women in
True.
sport do need, a few more voices to say that whoever's trying to come up, they know where to listen to and who to listen to and how to listen to them. So I just want to be in the background. In I know I'm talking about a lot of things at once, but that's just me. I like dabbling in a lot of things, but
Yeah.
being in the background is probably my biggest aspiration at this point in time.
Awesome. So are you now mentoring anyone, or what are you doing to encourage women to be in the same space as you are? I mean, you've worked with a lot of people. I'm sure you
Mm,
are, like, to me, you are an inspiration. So clearly,
thank you.
what are you doing?
I have a very funny thing when it comes to mentorship.
Yeah.
Um, it's I want when I mentor someone, I want them to be committed.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women that I've come across, bless their hearts, I admire women just stepping out and trying to do this thing, but there's some who don't really come with the kind of level of commitment that I require. Because if
Oh,
I say that I'm mentoring someone, I want you to go all in. And
yeah.
mentoring is not, this cute display where, we're having ice cream together and we're talking about
Yeah.
football and cricket and rugby. It's about learning. And
Yeah.
learning is never nice. It's always painful. Growing
Yeah.
pains are exactly that. So for me to mentor someone, I need them to actually put in the work and also be open to correction, because you've met me. I'm not a very soft person.
Yeah.
I hit hard. I hit hard. I want someone who's going to be able to receive that.
Yeah.
But yes, I am mentoring someone
Mm-hmm.
who is coming along very well.
Yeah.
And so mentorship is very important, especially when, as women in certain environments, we need to band
Yeah.
together and actually help one another. And in other aspects, you don't even need to call someone a mentor. Just, picking up the phone and say, hey, I have a problem with this, and oh no, do this, do that. Cool. That's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't need someone who's breathing down your neck constantly. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I
So,
am
girl,
mentoring someone.
Mmaphuti is mentoring other women. So how can they get hold of you?
Via my social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more active on Twitter than anything
Yeah,
else. So
it's
you
easy.
can ah so you can follow me at Miss underscore Masha 23. Um, if you can't find that, then just type my name and surname in, and then you'll find me. My DMs are open for women. Thank you very much. So you can just drop a DM and then we'll be in communication.
All right, thank you so much for taking this interview with me. I appreciate you so much. I'm hoping to
Thank
see
you
you.
for having me.
Thank you. Bye. All right, guys, there you have it. That was Mmaphuti Mashamaite. I nearly said Maite Mashamaite. So she's Mmaphuti Mashamaite. Do follow her on social media platforms that you mentioned, and I will see you next week. So next week is all about the fans. So let's interact. If you want to be part of this live video, please fear nothing. DM me and I will get back to you with regards to that. So next week we are dealing with everything COVID-19, everything that has to do with the league. So I'll be interviewing 5 people, 5 fans from 5 people. From 5 teams that are now on the top 5. So that is from Kaizer Chiefs, Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, Maritzburg United, and Super Sport. So see you next time, next week, same time, same place. Mwah! Bye.